probably, it was after high school when I graduated. I was going to work, going to school, going home. Going to work, going to school, going home. And it was those same three things that just happened every single day. And I was just like, I need something different. I need something a little bit more. So I joined a local gym, not really to like lose weight or get in shape. That was totally not my plan. It was just, I needed a different outlet. I needed someplace else to go. So I would go in there, ride the bike, do the treadmill, didn't really know what I was doing, maybe watch some people work out and just, I was just there. And then found this long line out the door and I'm like, what is that? And they're like, it's a step class. I'm like, what's step? And they're like, oh, it's this new thing with a platform, you gotta come try it. Okay. So I went into this beginner class and about, 15, 20 minutes into the step class, I got kind of bored. I think because I just picked it up so fast. And then the next day I went to the intermediate to advanced class and just fell in love with step. And so I was just taking step all the time. And then my instructor started telling me, you should teach. I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't get up in front of the room. I don't do any of that. I'm in the back of the room, I'll follow, I don't lead, nothing. So they bugged me for about 6 months and finally I was like, fine. I'll learn how to teach, I'll do what you say, and I'm gonna prove to you that I can't do this, because I can't do this. So out of spite, because I'm a little, spiteful, a little stubborn, a little bit, I wanted to prove them wrong. That's how I got into it, to prove them wrong. And so lo and behold, 22 years later, I'm still here and I guess still proving them wrong. But I'm having a blast with it and I just don't see myself, not doing it. I just love doing fitness and teaching, and whether it's working out on my own or trying, new classes or new things, and I just love it. I never thought that I would, never thought. Well, when I met Ripped, I was injured. I met Ripped at IDEA, I was injured. I had plantar fasciitis, my arthritis in my Achilles had flared up from an old injury teaching turbo kick, and I was just not really teaching as much, and so I was at IDEA, because I go every year, and that's when I met Terry and Tina and the whole crew, and they had these 15-minute demos up on stage, and that's really all that it took, was not even the full 15-minute demo. Terry jumped out of the booth. I just remember I was walking down the aisle and here comes Terry, boing, out of the booth and hands me a tank top. And he's like, let me tell you about Ripped. And I'm like, oh, no, I don't want another pre-choreographed program. I taught all these other pre-choreographed programs and I'm like, I just want a break. And he's like, why? Because Terry, you tell him something and he's like, why? Well, what about it? He makes you think. And so I was just like, well, I'm not a robot. I don't want to teach you. I want to teach me with your help, was kind of how I addressed it. And he's like, well, that's perfect, because that's what we are. We give you the base, but there's so much room and flexibility in it that you can add your own style and your own flavor and your own mix, and there's all kinds of different mixes you can do. And I was like, really? But I was still kind of like, I don't know, because I've heard all this before. I've been in the industry for so long. He hands me a second tank top. So I'm like, I'm a tank top whore. I can accept it. I'll take it. Free tank top, good looking guy. Where do you want me to go? So finally I was like, fine. So I took the 15-minute demo and I took all 3 of his 15-minute demos that weekend. Got all 3 tank tops and just fell in love with the program and knew that I had to teach this program. Took me a little bit because life, gets in the way, but June of 2010 I got trained. November of 2010 I became a master trainer, and not only am I still a master trainer for the program, traveling around, I'm teaching it back home, and I'm also the events coordinator for the company. So I help make sure that we're all set up at all the events and conventions that we go to every year across the country. And I'm just in love with fitness. And it all started with somebody telling me you should teach, and I told them no, and 22 years later, here I am. So it can happen, you never know. As a member, I could go in one day and take an hour of weight training, and then the next day I could get ripped and get my cardio and my weights in, because maybe I only have an hour to be in the gym and I want to get both in. I don't want to have to do an hour weight training class and an hour of cardio at the same time. And then the next day I could do something else. The next day I could do something else. And I always just tell them the huge big word is it complements every single program on the schedule. It doesn't matter what program it is, whether it's Insanity, P90X, Les Mills, the BTS programs. It complements every program. I just love everything about Ripped, and there's, like I said, there's nowhere other place that I think that I can see myself, a class that I can see teaching. I mean, I know there's 501 different programs out there, and I'm not saying that, only offer Ripped, because by no means am I saying only put Ripped on your schedule. I mean, that would be stupid of me. But, if you have weight training classes and you have the kickboxing classes and the Zumba and the dance classes, there's absolutely no reason why you can't have Ripped on your schedule, especially since it doesn't cost you a dime to have it on your schedule. The only thing maybe that it would cost you is that the class gets so popular on your schedule that you have to buy more equipment of what you already have.